The number of people in our community facing a COVID diagnosis continues to rise. It's meant changes in our lives in so many different ways, including how we deal with the necessities of life like medical care and legal work. And today we have our estate planning expert in studio, David Carrier. But first, David, I want to give you an opportunity to really talk about the family members and people in your life, because it's Veterans Day.
It's Veterans Day.
And I know red, white, and blue runs deep in your family.
That's correct. Yeah, well, you know, it's the one day when I can legally wear the uniform. But it's like Ron White says, I have the right but not the ability to wear my uniform. Anyway, yeah, my grandfather, he came over from Denmark. He was in the Marine Corps in World War I. I have his discharge papers and all that. And he was made what they call brevet rank. So he was sergeant for the duration of World War I.
That's awesome.
Then in World War II, of course, my dad served, my uncles all served. We had one, he's at Arlington right now, and on his tombstone, you know, he served in World War II, in Korea, in Vietnam.
Yeah.
You know, and so, of course, I served. One of my brothers was in the Navy, and then my son, Kevin, he's now in the business world, but, you know, he was in Afghanistan and leading his, he was an infantry ranger.
Thank you so much.
Platoon.
You have a lot of legacy of service in your family. Thank you so much to you and your family.
Well, you know, the thing is, the funny thing about that is I had such a good time when I was in. I mean, people get this idea that it's all, I don't know, so rigid and all the rest of it, and it's not easy. I mean, it's different. But, you know, young kids today, like Tom Fitzgerald, he's one of our Korea vets, he's a client of ours, and we go to these dinners where you bring the high school kids in, and just to show them, hey, you know, service is a real option for you.
And it's
you
an
really
honor,
should be
too.
thinking about it. It is.
Yeah.
It really is.
And
but that's not what we're here for.
There are a lot of people. I know we wanted to talk a little bit of, you know, here we are, November 2020.
Right.
We are in a very unique position right now in the pandemic. And I know that you work with the elder population.
Right.
And you also do life planning, estate planning. And that's a very vulnerable population. And it's led to some truths and observations for you in your business.
Well, you know how people are putting off routine medical care. They're not getting their tests. They're not doing the mammograms. They're not doing the blood work. They're not doing the colonoscopies. They're not doing all these things, the prostate stuff, all these things that are going to have dire consequences. And we're already seeing some of it, you know, in terms of increased cancer deaths and things like that, because people are not doing what needs to be done. And it's the same with us.
Yeah, and feeling comfortable in gathering. Your workshops are essential to planning. David, can you talk about what happens in a workshop and how you're able to bring those to people to spaces where they feel comfortable with their friends?
So typically we'll have 20, 30 families in a workshop. I mean, until 2020, that was the way it went. And in the workshop, it's a here's what probate is. Here's the basics. A 2-hour workshop is what we typically did. We've got it down to an hour now, you know, and we do them at the office, and we take all kinds of precautions, sanitizing, everything else. But a client, just this last week, I just thought it was such a great idea. She said, well, can I bring my friends? You know, can we have a workshop just for me and my friends, my coffee clatch, you know, the group of ladies, the ladies who lunch, you know, that kind of group. And a lot of our veterans, they get together for breakfast at this place and lunch at that place a couple times a week, coffee with the guys. And so what we thought is, what a great idea. We're doing small ones. They're not 20, 30 people anymore, but we're doing them at the coffee shop, at the restaurant, to support the local mom and pop shops where, you know, you go for a cup of coffee with the buddies. Well, we don't want you haven't given that up. We don't want you to give it up. What if we brought the workshop there? So the people that you're with, they're not strangers.
Yeah,
you know,
they're your bubble that you're socializing with, the chosen people or family or close
You know
friends.
that they're wearing the masks when you don't see them. You know they're doing the good things, and so the idea is to bring the workshop to you where you're comfortable, where you are already. So we're going to support those local restaurants, coffee shops, what have you, where you've been meeting with your friends, and instead of putting it off until, see, because that's the thing. We are more busy now than we ever have been, but it's all crisis stuff. Things that, if, you know, and our probate work is way up because we're doing a lot more guardianships and conservatorships, whereas if we had powers of attorney in place, we wouldn't have to be doing that, right? So we're really just trying to, we do it on video, of course. There's all kinds of stuff that we're doing, but I just thought this was such a great idea.
It is.
You're there with your friends. you know, the people that you like. Have a cup of coffee and a donut, and we'll put a little a little elder law spice
And,
on
and
it.
people are looking for that security, frankly, these days. And it is, your future and your family, but also your medical care, how you want everything to be played out.
Right.
And that is very important, those conversations, they take place. So people just need to contact you to set something like this up.
Just give us a call, and look, have gun will travel, right? I mean, we're fine to go wherever you would like. Of course, we can always do it at the office if you'd like. But really, I just love the coffee shop idea because you're already getting together anyway.
Yeah.
Of course, we'll ruin your coffee hour, but, there you go.
And maybe even spring for some donuts or cookies.
Oh, yeah,
We usually share
we're
when
on
people
board
do
for that.
come to the
We'll be
office.
sponsoring those, yeah.
Awesome, David. We appreciate it.
Thank
and thank
you.
you again for the service of you and your family.
Well, thanks.